Hey guys, happy Monday afternoon. Welcome back. Wanted to touch on a couple things. We have a lot of newbies. Hey guys, welcome. Thank you for joining. Um, I put, as you see in the upper right hand corner, I've got my email address, I've got my phone number of every video. You guys are always more than welcome to email, call if I can help you out with anything. And I think between yesterday and today, I've had a few people call me, and we've already spent well over an hour on the phone per person. Okay, a lot of these folks are new. There's a lot of rumor information out there, a lot of, misleading information, which, we can really help clear the air, okay, with any misunderstandings, bringing you up to speed as to why this has to happen. A good question came through by Peppermint down here, and I'd like to touch on that because I think it's a very valid question. I want to try to give you guys some basics and some other things, and then I have a really good article that came out a little later today I'd like to cover with you guys. So, Peppermint had asked, said, "Hey, when do you think this is going to happen?" They were personally thinking October. Okay. Now I want to just give you some basics on this. Rate changes, rate changes usually if they're smaller, it can just be just a general rate change that happens. A little small one, little one that moves 3-4 points, that's of no concern to us. We're looking for this massive rate change. Okay. Well, this rate change is going to fund reforms. So there's a key point in this to us because this large rate change is going to fund reforms. It has to be linked to a budget period, guys. Budget periods are scheduled. So because budget periods are scheduled, that means that this rate change can only happen at a certain point within the year. Okay? Now, countries can only have two budget periods. They can have a beginning of the year budget, which is normal, but they could also have a mid-year semi-annual budget. Okay? Now, Iraq started the formation of their government back in when they held their elections in October. They worked on forming their government from October kind of through January, and then from January through really up until kind of July. Up until after their last Eid recess period, they put the brakes on the formation of the government. Why? Well, they did have a 5-month delay because of the formation or because of the United States government. The United States government at this time is the only country that still has sanctions and restrictions on Iraq controlling what they do. The United States delayed it for 5 months. Okay, they were working on implementing a US digital dollar, a CBDC. That delayed this for 5 months. But anyway, now back to my point. So right now, Iraq picked up steam and momentum starting in May. In May, they resumed forward. They drafted the food and security law. They've done a lot of steps since May to present to get everything done and ready for a semi-mid-year rate change. Iraq's fiscal period it's the same as Kuwait's. It goes from April of one year to March of the next. So the middle of their year is October. It's their 7th month, right? So what they're suggesting to us, and at the end of the day, they can't tell us this. They have to keep it a secret. But what it looks as though they're doing from their actions, again, you really have to study this from their actions, not what they tell you. You have to watch what they do. They don't tell you enough to pin this down. So you have to really watch and observe their actions to see what they're doing. Their actions suggest to us they're working on a mid-year budget. Okay? And for example, take the food and security law. The food and security law, I've already shown factual documentation that clearly stated the food and security law is an extension of the 22 budget. We know for a fact you have to look at where is the money coming from for the food and security law? The money for the food and security law is from the budget period of 2021. It's oil surplus revenue. They had to do something with it. Okay? So what they did was they simply just brought it forward under the fancy name of a food and security law. And what they're using it for is to fund a portion of the reforms. That's all they're doing with it. Again, it's just 21 oil revenue surplus. And they're using it. They've stated clearly in print, factually, that it's an extension of the 22 budget being used to fund a portion of the reforms. Okay? So, what they're revealing to us and strongly suggesting to us is that they're going to bring forward and do a mid-year supplementary budget. All right? So even though you heard me say October, 7th month, that's not the timing for the rate change. That's the period for the reforms. All right? Right now, we're literally just down to a small little window of time here for them to revalue the currency. They could do it anytime just within the next few weeks. They could revalue, okay? Kind of right now, first part of August. Remember, I showed you guys some key news from last night or yesterday evening through one screenshot in this morning's video that showed Iraq is supposed to attend and be part of that Buna seminar for implementing the Buna system, which is it's a clearinghouse system used for money transfers in the Middle East. Okay, so again, we're very close right now to the rate change, most happily just within the next few weeks. Okay, it doesn't appear to be that far away. But remember, this investment is very hard to gauge and pin down because they're not, what we're looking for is for them to form the government. I've shown you guys in print, in facts. The Central Bank of Iraq made it very clear Iraq must have a formed, completed government where the security's gone. They must have political stability. So what they have to do is remove the political they've already removed the political stability, but they still have to form the government, and they have to have political stability. So until they form that government, we're not going to see the rate change. So at a number one step, that's the most important information we're looking for, is to see when they're at least going to have and hold the next session of Parliament to start voting on the president. And mark my words, once they start voting on the president, they're going to change the rate very shortly after, probably within a week. Okay? It'll be very close in time. It won't be, they only need about a week to form the government. Okay? So, all right. So, Peppermint, great question. I hope that helps everybody out. We're very close to the RV. It's literally just within a few weeks now. Okay? We've got to see them form that government. Once they have and hold that first session of Parliament to start voting on the president, getting him in, which they're hiding from us at this time, and they have to hide it from us because I've kind of already proven to you guys the government's secretly done and formed. They can't tell us about it. But second, the formation of the government leads you to a classified event, the rate change. So they kind of, in a way, have to keep the government a partial secret because it leads you to a huge pot of gold, rate change. Okay? Let's move forward now. Now, you guys have seen this phone number scrolling up here, and this gentleman's name, Laron. One thing that you may want to consider, and I want to just go into this for all the newbies. I did a video. Let me back up here. You can see this in our video library. Hold on. Right here. It's from July 23rd. Okay, it's a video that we did about swing, tree, truss, and foundations. Myself and a couple other people, we did a video. It's a long video. It's over an hour, but it's very, very well worth your time. What we talk about is the whole point and purpose of a trust or foundation. Remember, foundations, it has to be a very unique, structured foundation, as well as trust. Trusts, although only have a lifespan of about 15 years, it's charitable remainder trust. They have a lifespan on them. Foundations do not. Plus, if you have kids, you can put multiple family units in a foundation. So you could put, if you had a foundation, you could put each of your kids, and they could each uniquely have their own checking account in your foundation. You can have 7 family units, or like 7 individual family structures, so each kid could have their own unique account if you have multiple kids after the RV and you wanted to give them some money afterwards. Okay? So here's again, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an attorney. I'm just sharing my basic understanding of a trust and or foundation with you. They help you defer your taxes. If you have 2 ways you could exchange on this. You could exchange your money either under your Social Security number, pay 30 to 40% in taxes, most likely through the capital gains route, side of taxes instead of personal taxes. Okay? Or you could use a structure, a trust, or foundation and use the EIN number of a non-charitable, or I'm sorry, non-profitable structure. Like a foundation is like a church. It's a 501(c)(3). Okay? So, and under the foundation and or the trust, You could put businesses under them. But basically, you're the operating manager of the structure because and it can help you lower your income bracket. Okay, the trust or foundation, your structure, can own your house. It could provide you a house to live in, provide you a car to drive. It could pay for the insurance and upkeep of your car, insurance and upkeep of your house, the utilities. So that all that's no longer out of pocket to you. So you now live in a lower income bracket. On those structures, the only way you pay taxes, or only time you pay taxes, is when money is given and goes to you personally. Okay. So you let the foundation pay for a lot of things, but you no longer own anything. Two examples. Remember when Donald Trump first came in as president, he was attacked because everyone's like, "Hey, you're not showing us your taxes." He wasn't going to show you his taxes. He doesn't pay his fair share. He's got a foundation. Okay, the Clintons are corrupt as hell, have a foundation. Okay, and tons of money was donated to their foundation by like Saudi Arabia. Okay, Bill Gates, who's corrupt, has a foundation. All right, so all these corrupt individuals, when I'm not saying that Donald Trump's corrupt, but what I'm simply saying is people who are powerful, wealthy, and intelligent shelter their money in a structure like a foundation. Okay, it helps you tremendously. You still have to pay taxes, but much more on a reduced scale. Now, hear me carefully on this. In fact, I'm going to open up a new web page. Hear me very carefully on this. This is powerful, guys. I've already shared this to my regular followers. Hold on, I got to add one more little piece here. This is very important. Okay, Wells Fargo Private Bank. I've consulted with them. I know of one of their financial advisors that works there. Again, Wells Fargo Private Bank. What do? And they're not a regular bank, guys. They only have a few offices in certain states. Okay, well, maybe one or two locations throughout most states. What do? They invest your money. This is like the private client services. This is the investment division of Wells Fargo Bank. But it's the premier investment division. So in other words, to get in with these guys, I'm pretty sure you have to have a minimum amount of money, and my best guess is it's probably, again, this is my guess because I don't know this for a fact, it's probably around $1 million to have them invest in your money at the private bank. Okay? Now, I know one of their private investment bankers that works there. He's an ultra conservative guy. I had asked him two questions. I said, his name's Larry. I said, Larry, he doesn't believe in the dinar because he's very conservative and he thinks it's a scam like most bankers do. But so I respected his space, and we didn't talk about dinar, but I asked him two key questions. I said, Larry, if I had a bunch of foreign currency that revalued, and at this point now I've got millions of dollars. Here's my two questions. With my millions of dollars, if I allow you to invest it, but I also want you to exchange it for me because I'm allowing you to invest it, would you exchange it for free? He said, yes. He said, as long as you had enough money, so you need a few $1 million. Again, I don't know what the minimum amount is, but you have to barter with them and just say, hey, I'll let you exchange my money for you. Okay, but it has to be for free because I'm going to turn around and invest a portion of it with you or all of it. He said, yeah, Wells Fargo's private bank will do that for you. So they said as long as you invest some of your money with them, it has to be a reasonable amount, they'll exchange all your dinar for free at no cost. Now, then I asked Larry, again, he's ultra conservative. I said, Larry, if I was to invest my money with you guys in a kind of a moderate, middle-of-the-road, risky type of investment, what type of annual returns could I expect to get back? This is the part I want you to hear. He said Wells Fargo's private bank could very comfortably get me annual returns, yes, annual returns of 10 to 12% annually with middle-of-the-road, risky investments. Okay? So you could very comfortably invest all your dinar and get annual returns to 12% back and very comfortably live on that. Okay, I just wanted to share that with you guys. Wells Fargo Private Bank. Let's move forward. So anyway, back to Swing Tree. They do trust, they do foundations. I gave you a quick generic overview on it. As you guys see, you can email them through this website in the top right corner. You can click on contact. It will bring it up. You kind of email them, okay? Or you can just straight up call LaRon. I've got his mobile number right there at the top for you. Good old LaRon. He's a heck of a nice guy. He does do some other things during the day. This is like a secondary business for him. He's very good at it, very knowledgeable, very thorough. Just leave a voice message with him, and he will call you back when he has time. Okay. Again, LaRon, and there's his mobile phone number. Okay. I'll let it cycle through one more time because I'm about to bounce out of here and get into what I want to cover with you guys. Okay. So anyway, that's LaRon. Moving on. So anyway, now you guys know what trusts and foundations do. I strongly recommend the basic structure of a foundation. Even a trust, guys, he only charges $7,000. That is much cheaper than what you're going to pay for taxes. Okay, that'll save you on taxes in the long run. But again, if you want to watch that video back on July 23rd, I posted a detailed link, and we did a detailed video with LaRon in it, going in great detail about a lot of the key benefits that trusts and foundations can do for you. Moving on. This was literally just 2 weekends ago, 2 weekends ago, July 17th. Iraq came out saying they're preparing to join the world trade. This is key. This is key. This is huge. And Iraq stated in this that they want to join the world trade. If you look at the green highlight, though, it said they submitted their application for accession clear back in 2004. Okay? So again, in order for Iraq to join the world trade, they must have an internationally recognized tradable currency outside their country. And today, because they're under United States restrictions, like we've stated earlier, their currency is not tradable. That's why they can't. Right now, they're only an observing member of the world trade. To be a full-fledged member, they have to have some specific tax laws in place for imports, exports, and taxes, and the currency has to be tradable. But notice how they're talking about this as of July 17th. Now, one of the things I started walking into with you guys was we started talking about we were talking about currency budget periods and how the rate change is linked to a budget period. And we said there's only two of them, beginning of the year, middle of the year. Well, Iraq didn't shift gears and turn up the temperature on this and finally start getting crap done until really May of this year. Why May? Well, because it's becoming a mid-year budget scenario. That's what this is, guys. This is a mid-year scenario. That's why they're telling you until July they're not ready to join the world trade, because they want to revalue their currency somewhere around, we're probably looking to see this thing done. Most likely, I would say probably by the end of August is a very reasonable guess in this. It may not take that long, okay? I think we're just within a few weeks on it, but I'm just saying absolute worst case scenario. Probably by the end of August. I don't think this will go into September, okay? Now, but right now they're suggesting to us they're very close to getting at least the president done because they came out with a prime minister nominee as of this morning, okay? They're suggesting they're reasonably close, maybe just need a week or 2 or 3. All right, they're reasonably close in this. So, but anyway, this is from July 17th. They're saying they wanted to join the world trade. Now, these types of articles between this one and this one right here, always constantly talking about adjusting the exchange rate, these types of articles only seem to come out when they get in close proximity to actually adjusting their exchange rate, okay? And so right now, this one came out July 17th. If you guys want to read this article in its entirety, you can pause it here. I just wanted to show you mainly the article and its highlight, but again, you could pause the video right here and read it. Let's go look at this. This is the main article that came out later today that I wanted to show you. It says, the Prime Minister's advisor for economic affairs has identified one option to reduce the dollar's exchange rate against the Iraq dinar while predicting the fate of the 23 budget. Now, they're not going to tell you that they're doing a mid-year budget. Now, one of the things I tried to convey to you guys this morning, especially if you're new, you have to pay more attention to their actions than what they tell you. Okay? What do I mean by that? Again, actions versus what they say. In this article, they're talking about adjusting the exchange rate, but notice how they're also bundling that with the 23 budget because they don't want your eyes looking at the middle of the year. Their actions link all of this events to the middle of the year, not to the end of the year for a 23 budget period. Okay? So again, they do this by design to mislead and confuse so you don't understand their actions. That's why I want to point this out to you. All of their actions picked up the temperature and escalating and starting moving forward back in May. Iraq pretty much has already gotten everything they need to from what we are aware of. I use the word aware because we don't know every step needed for the rate change. But from what we're aware of, they've already accomplished all steps needed to be able to eligible to revalue the currency. They're done. They've really, from what we know and what we're aware of, we don't think they have anything left to do. Okay? All of the temperature on this escalated as of May when they started with the food and security law and everything else that they've done, all the big meetings they held and so forth. Okay? But notice how here they talk about adjusting the exchange rate, but it says predicting the fate, and they're linking that with the 23 budget because they don't want you to think the rate's going to change in the middle of the year. They want you to think that it's going to change closer to the 23 budget period. Let's look at this article and let's see what it's telling us.
The Prime Minister's advisor for economic affairs has identified one option to reduce the dollar's exchange rate against the Iraqi dinar, while predicting the fate of the 2023 budget. Haytham Al-Yaburi said, for the program Alstra broadcast by Al Furat satellite channel tonight, that the financial equation in the country is the one that controls the exchange rate of the dollar, and if we want to strengthen the dinar and convince investors abroad to invest in the country gradually, the dollar begins to decline, i.e. encouraging investments and increasing non-oil revenues will raise the level of value of the dinar. He added, the Iraqi people are increasing by 1.25 million people annually, and if we do not remedy the situation and make plans, we will actually suffer in paying salaries during the coming years. The future of future generations cannot be mortgaged to fluctuating oil prices. Al-Yaburi explained, in Iraq, if thinking about the economy remains in the same current mechanism, we will have mercy on the current exchange rate, and the white paper remained ink on paper without brains. With regard to the federal budget for the fiscal year 2023, Al-Yaburi said, it can only be approved by the presence of a new government and not necessarily the same approach as the current government. It may take austerity for the sake of the article, but if the current government remains, we will proceed with setting the doors of law. And he continued, Prime Minister Mustafa Al-Kazemi is the most president who followed up on the energy file in the country, and Iraq spent nearly $6 billion on the electricity sector in 2021, and there was supposed to be a levy for electricity that covers the ministry's costs completely, but it does not currently reach 15%. Al-Yaburi went on to say, the federal court's decision that the oil and gas law in the Kurdistan region is unconstitutional is a good step to negotiate with the federal government. And the Office of Financial Supervision is responsible for following up on the revenues generated from the region's oil, while the advances that the region currently receives are deducted from its share in the budget. Regarding the economic pressure paper on Turkey after the criminal attack against civilians in the Bazakho resort, Al-Yaburi said, it is possible that the government has now begun to escalate. There is a complaint submitted to the Security Council and there is an intention for the presence of Iraqi forces in the areas adjacent to the Turkish border. He stressed the need to arrange the situation before the boycott and to find an alternative to import, as the value of our imports from Turkey exceeds $20 billion, which is higher than China. Regarding automation, Al-Yaburi commented, Iraq needs the correct automation of the border crossings, and we need other measures to make the automation step successful, noting Al-Kazemi's failure in the financial file, but in general he acted wisely and got Iraq out of major crises. With regard to the political file, Al-Yaburi stressed, the framework is keen on the unity of the national ranks by nominating Muhammad Shia al-Sudani for the position of Prime Minister, and I think that his personality is acceptable to all parties and he is known for his integrity, and so far most of the blocs are welcome. Al-Yaburi concluded, the two Kurdish parties are both insisting on their candidates for the presidency, and the nomination of al-Sudani will lead to the acceleration of deciding the position of President of the Republic.
All right, so as you guys see, very good article. It's just, see here what they're doing is every time they get close to revaluing their currency, and the last time they really put these types of articles out was in Q4 of this year, around their election period, before they had a 5-month delay. The 5-month delay went from January through May, okay? So before they had their 5-month delay in this, okay, they put out a ton of articles talking about adjusting the exchange rate. Well, okay, now as they get back into the time period of doing a mid-year budget that they're not telling us about, now they're back to talking about this again, adjusting the exchange rate, talking about Iraq joining the world trade, all that good stuff. Okay, so I just wanted to show these articles to you guys, and also kind of for the newbies, give you a quick understanding of trust. This is Swing Tree. Okay, Swing Tree, and you guys had LaRon's number up there, right there. That's good old LaRon. He's a really knowledgeable guy. He'll help you out. Just leave him he's a busy guy, so just leave him a message. He'll help you get all your questions answered. And then if you want more of a thorough, detailed video, go back to July 23rd and check out the video I posted in our video library, okay? Again, and that was very detailed with lots of thorough questions being answered and asked, and gives you a really good understanding of the point of trust and foundations to help you reduce your tax burden. Plus, when you come into all this money, you don't want to own money, you don't want to own anything, but you want to control it. You don't want to own anything but control it. Reason why? If somebody goes to sue you, you don't own anything, okay? If you don't own anything, nobody can go after anything because you don't own anything to be sued for, all right? And it gives you a tax shelter with asset protection. So, and we just wanted to help you guys out if you're new. Thank you guys for joining me. Take care and have a great evening.